Warde Manuel will remain as Michigan's athletic director and is the man tasked with finding the next head coach to lead the Michigan football program. And this has been decided by the Board of Regents and its interim president. Let's talk about what this means for Michigan, what this means for Warde Manuel, and why I think this is a wise decision. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year-round. If you're into that, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think that Warde Manuel is the right man to identify and hire the next head coach to succeed Sherrone Moore as a head coach at the University of Michigan? Very interested to see what your response is. Also going to add in here that there's a new feature that I am allowed to use on YouTube that allows me to use voice in comments. So some of you will see fists, some of you will see voice. You let me know which one you like more, and we'll see what more we can't do about that. Also, we have enabled you to have a loud comment on the channel. You'll have to pay for it, but you can make your comment heard, and I'll probably respond to those. Look, it's been really rough if you're a Michigan Wolverine right now. This is me talking about Michigan as if it were my own program and what I would like someone in my position as a national college football analyst to say, which is to say, be fair, be honest, don't sugarcoat. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants you to blow smoke up their behind. Nobody wants you to tell them that the sky isn't falling, but be fair to the institution and be fair to the kind of program that Michigan aspires to be. This means that, yes, we are going to once again mention that Jim Harbaugh's assistants have not been great for Michigan. Jim Harbaugh has not been great for Michigan. Past the national championship and the conference championships and beating Ohio State, there's really not a whole lot that you're happy about. That said, that makes a lot of Michigan Wolverines happy, and I'm fine with that. But if you are a Michigan person, a Michigan man, a Michigan woman, this is not the standard for which you paid good money to go to the University of Michigan or sacrifice body and time as a scholarship athlete to gain your degree from there. But when you look at what Sherrone Moore is, being investigated for at Michigan and by local police, two different things I might add, you can't feel good about this. So for those of you that need some catching up, we'll try to make this as quick as we can for the folks that are very much following this story as closely as I am. Sherrone Moore was fired on Wednesday afternoon at about 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Just after that, the Pittsfield Township in Michigan said, hey, we located Sherrone Moore and we have detained him for questioning investigation. That led to him being detained at the Washington County Jail overnight, and he is expected to be arraigned for alleged assault on Friday morning. A lot of other rumors going around. I'm not going to engage in that speculation because I think it is beneath myself and you as a viewer and longtime subscriber to this channel for me to just throw out to you what everybody else is saying. I want Michigan to perform its investigation. I want the police to perform their investigation, and we will talk about what they know. What they do know is that Sherrone Moore was not a random act showing up at someone else's home and needed to be detained and held overnight. We also know that the hiring cycle could not be worse right now for Michigan. It is, for many, a top 5 job, top 6 job. I've heard top 10. Any one of those will work. You want the job if you don't have one, but that's the problem. A lot of the candidates that you would like to see up for this job right now have either signed extensions at a current place or have accepted new jobs or have extensions and are in the college football playoff. I realize that there are a lot of people that want Warde Manuel to fly to Tuscaloosa and make Kalen DeBoer the next head coach of the University of Michigan. I have been told by folks in Tuscaloosa and around the country that's a really difficult thing to pull off. Kalen DeBoer has a very good deal, and I don't just mean his contract, at Alabama. And Nick Saban has sway in a way that very few people do at Alabama. And quietly, Kalen DeBoer has gotten everything that he asks for in much the same way that Lane Kiffin does at LSU and Ryan Day does at Ohio State. And this would be a third job in 3 years. I don't think that's what DeBoer wants. I think he probably wants to finish his coaching career at Alabama. That aside, Warde Manuel is the guy to try to go get that man if there's anybody in position at UM to do that. Manuel, who came up as a player at Michigan, who was an associate AD at Michigan, who was an AD at UConn and an AD at Buffalo, among others, before he got this job, Michigan. Now, he's also the man who was really happy to have Jim Harbaugh on, and also was looking at perhaps having to fire Jim Harbaugh had they played Ohio State in 2020 and lost that game. And maybe a shrewd bit of business if you are the University of Michigan and Warde Manuel and the Board of Regents. He made Jim Harbaugh eat what I thought was a really embarrassing contract following the 2020 season. It was basically a bunch of incentives. But Harbaugh overperformed that contract, reaped all of the incentives, created a college football playoff team, a Big Ten champion, and the kind of team that could beat Ohio State. Did he do it with Connor Stalions engaging in sign stealing, to use a term that I most like, electronically videoing and then deciphering tape? Yeah, he did. Did they have to lose the national championship because of it or their 2023 season? No, but the NCAA is leveling $30 million in fines to them that they are fighting. On top of this, Matt Weiss was charged by the FBI, the feds, the Justice Department, for invading the privacy of thousands of student athletes and having much of their information on his personal computer and hard drive. It's a co-offensive coordinator. That's a guy that Jim Harbaugh had hired. Then you have Sherrone Moore, who is a guy that Jim Harbaugh stumped for, a guy that he had put in his contract saying, I want him to succeed me at Michigan if I am to go. On his way out, Jim Harbaugh and Jesse Minter and Sherrone Moore all caught show causes for a number of things being recruiting violations and their role or not their role in sign stealing. Big Ten also penalized them a lot of this. Even the Big Ten went to bat for them and saying, look, we think that they've served the penalty. The NCAA said, no, we're going to stick it to you in a way that we haven't anybody else. Rather than give you the death penalty, we're going to make you come out of your pocket in a way that's going to hurt. On all of that, Sherrone Moore was also had to miss games in 2024. Biff Poggi was the interim head coach. Didn't seem to affect them on the field that much. They end the season 9-3. They are expected to play in the Cheez-It Bowl against Texas. That catches you up to Sherrone Moore being terminated for cause. The interim president at University of Michigan has said, look, this sucks. Sherrone Moore has violated our trust in a way that I don't know that he gets to come back from. But they are also still continuing their investigation because there are a lot of people with, shall we say, skin in the game. There are some people that believe one thing. There are other people that believe another thing. Investigations go like this. I'm not going to get into specifics. I'm not going to entertain names. I'm not even going to entertain any of the alleged actions. We're going to go with alleged assault because that's what the police have said. We're going to leave it there. That's enough, quite frankly. We do know that Sherrone Moore's 39. He has a wife, 3 kids, and that this is a man who had it all. You're a millionaire several times over, and you coach at one of the premier institutions in all of college football. Manuel, though, was a guy that people are going, okay, you are the athletic director when Jim Harbaugh is overseeing what Connor Stalions and Matt Weiss and Sherrone Moore have done. Are you the guy that needs to do this, or do we need to clean house with you and literally everybody else involved in the program associated with the Harbaugh era? For now, they have decided not as the Board of Regents. They decided that he is the guy. Okay. They have an interim president. So put another way, if you fired Warde Manuel, you no longer have a head coach, you no longer have an athletic director, and you're left with an interim president who has to try to piece this all together. It's not a good combination. The smart thing is to try to let Warde Manuel figure this out. And then if you don't like the results in the spring, then you do a little bit more moving around and shaking. But it seems that many in Michigan want Kalen DeBoer. I don't think that's the guy to go get, but that's what you want to do and you want to try to do it. Yes, go ahead. There are also 3 other things I think that Michigan needs to do. You need to retain Bryce Underwood. If you retain Bryce Underwood, you have a great chance of also retaining Jordan Marshall, Andrew Marsh, Jair Hill, and Andrew Sprague, right? Who are really outstanding players and could help you in 2026 to a tremendous degree. The other thing I think you need to do, and this is kind of obvious, hire the right guy. Maybe it's Brian Kelly, who's got a pedigree that everybody knows about, a guy that landed Bryce Underwood at LSU before the flip commitment, a guy that wants to coach Bryce Underwood. And maybe you want to take in Underwood's impression of the kind of guy he would like to work under or play for as you're trying to identify that guy. If that's Kalen DeBoer, great. Awesome. If you can get him, great. Awesome. Last thing you need to do, and I think this is what the letter that was distributed by the interim president also gets to, and a point that I made at foxsports.com where you can read this column, you have to be so very transparent about what is going on right now, open and honest. You have to take all criticism and you have to question everything. You no longer get to act as if you know everything about your program. You have to take on anybody's opinion that has been associated with the program in a meaningful way, past or present, and you have to take all of the negative criticism that is going to come from your fans and alumni and stakeholders. That doesn't mean taking it from everybody, but it does mean that there are people that really love that university, that has been around for over 200 years, that have paid good money for them and their kids and have seen their parents go to school there, that will need and are quite frankly, they are entitled to answers. Figure that part out. I mean, this is not me, the Oklahoma guy. This is not me, the anti-Michigan guy. This is me as a national college football analyst who has to cover the sport, talk to people at the University of Michigan who have told me some things. Like, one of the things that a guy inside the program actually told me was, we're hurting. And what's worse is we're not sure when and how the hurting will end. This is not who our program is. I think that says quite a bit. For those of you that feel hurt and are hurting, I empathize. For those of y'all that are here for the train wreck, I also get it too. You know, this is the biggest story in college football. And just to think, a couple of days ago, we were just arguing about Notre Dame being entitled and elitist.